Welcome back to the Technology Risk Podcast.
It's great to be back.
Before we jump into today's topic, and it is an urgent one, please just take a second to subscribe.
Right. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts.
It really helps us keep these conversations going.
So today, we are tackling something that I think is a foundational crisis in network security.
That's a strong word, crisis.
I think it's accurate. We're looking at this total mismatch between the networks people have and the threats that are actually out there.
Outdated networks versus AI hackers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If your network is, say, 5, maybe 10 years old, you built it to fight a human.
Right. A person on a keyboard who needs to think, needs to sleep.
That whole paradigm is just, it's over.
Yeah.
Today's threats move at machine speed. We're talking about fully autonomous agents.
And they don't sleep.
They don't sleep. They're probing networks 24/7, generating exploits on the fly, and the numbers back this up.
Yeah. The growth is staggering.
We've seen AI-assisted attacks grow by 126% year over year. That's not a trend. That's a complete reality shift.
So that's our mission for today's discussion. We need to really break down why the network edge, your firewall, your switches, your whole architecture is now the most important shield you have.
And then give you some actionable steps. Explain how modern firewalls can actually protect small and medium businesses and what a robust network should look like today.
Okay, so let's start right at that battleground.
Yeah.
The edge, the AI threat model.
It's all about persistence and volume.
Like you said, AI doesn't get bored, doesn't need a coffee break. It'll just sit there and hammer your perimeter all day, all night.
And when we say hammer, we mean it. These bots can throw millions of requests per minute at a firewall.
Millions?
Yeah, millions. They're testing every single port, every possible misconfiguration all at the same time. It's a level of pressure that legacy hardware was just never designed for.
And we're seeing the results of that pressure. The data from Cisco Talos, I found that really alarming.
What did that say?
70% of breaches in small to medium businesses start at the perimeter, specifically with exploits on outdated firewalls.
It's the path of least resistance.
It is the easiest way in for these automated tools.
And for the person behind the attack, it's completely hands-off. You know, they deploy one of these agents, point it at an IP range, and then they just walk away.
And the bot does all the work.
All of it. It scans for vulnerabilities, it auto-generates the payloads to exploit them, it tries password spraying, and then
if it gets in.
It doesn't stop. It immediately pivots to the internal network. It starts hunting for credentials, exfiltrating data, and it's moving at a speed that, no human security team can even process the initial alert in time.
Which brings us to probably the biggest architectural mistake that enables this kind of speed.
The flat network.
The flat network problem. Can you explain why that is just a wide open invitation for an AI intruder?
Sure. A flat network is, it's essentially one big room. Everything can see everything else. The CEO's computer, the server with all your financial data, the smart TV in the break room.
The badge reader on the door?
All of it. They're all on the same logical subnet, often with just unmanaged switches. So if that single firewall at the edge fails...
Which statistically it's going to.
It is. The intruder has this massive, totally unobstructed east-west attack surface. They can move anywhere they want.
So that one compromised workstation becomes a full network compromise.
In minutes. We've seen it happen. When you have a human defender trying to read logs in a machine speed threat moving laterally, the whole network can be encrypted in less time than it takes to drink a cup of coffee.
Under 15 minutes in some cases.
It's lethal. That lack of internal boundaries is just lethal in this environment.
Okay, so if the edge is failing, let's talk about the tool. Why are so many of these legacy firewalls just falling over?
It really comes down to what they were built to see. Old firewalls, they just filter ports.
Is port 80 open for web traffic? Is port 443 open? Simple questions.
Exactly. They are, for all intents and purposes, digital doorstops now. Modern AI-driven threats, they don't care about simple port filters. They exploit identity, APIs, encrypted traffic.
Things the old firewalls can't even see.
Right. And Gartner's data backs this up. 90% of successful attacks just walk right past traditional port-based firewalls.
90%. So if your firewall is 5 or more years old, you're basically relying on something that is proven to be ineffective.
So that means the checklist for a next-gen firewall has to be much longer. You absolutely need deep packet inspection.
which means the firewall is actually looking inside the data traffic, not just at the address label.
It's looking at the application, at the payload to see if it's malicious. You also need real-time threat intelligence feeds, behavioral analytics built in.
And critically, it has to be an enforcement point for a zero-trust rule set.
Absolutely. It has to constantly ask, who are you and should you be doing that, not just assume trust because you're inside the building.
Now, a lot of that sounds expensive. It sounds like enterprise-level tech. Is it actually accessible for smaller businesses now?
It is, and the reason is cloud management. You see, the problem is speed. A human team just can't keep up.
Right. A zero-day vulnerability is discovered, and it takes hours to manually create and deploy a patch.
And in those hours, the AI bot has already found and exploited that flaw across your entire network. If the attack moves at machine speed, your defense has to match it.
So cloud management automates that response.
Precisely. New signatures, patches, block lists, they can be pushed to every single endpoint instantly from one central console. That automated machine speed defense is non-negotiable now.
I'm really interested in the integration with identity platforms. This feels like a huge step forward.
It's a game changer. The
Yeah.
best firewalls don't just see an IP address trying to access a server. They see who is logged in from what device, and they check that against their permissions in something like Azure AD or Google Workspace.
So you can block suspicious behavior based on identity, not just traffic patterns.
And you can do it automatically before a human even sees the alert.
Okay, so let's say you've done that. You've bought the shiny new cloud-managed firewall. But if your network is still that flat spaghetti architecture, you haven't solved the blast radius problem.
Not at all. And that's why the architecture matters just as much as the appliance. You have to start thinking of your network in zones.
Like bulkheads on a ship. You seal off one flooded compartment to save the rest of the vessel.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
You split the network into zones. Finance goes in one, guest Wi-Fi in another. IoT devices get their own little sandbox.
Why is that so crucial?
Because it kills lateral movement. If an attacker compromises, say, a smart thermostat on the IoT network, segmentation means they're stuck there. They can't jump over to the server holding all your financial records.
So the attack hits a dead end?
A digital dead end. And the data here is clear. IBM X-Force found that segmented networks reduce the ransomware blast radius by 75%.
That's the difference between a minor incident and a company-killing catastrophe.
And this architecture is what actually makes zero trust possible. We have to keep repeating the principle. Never trust. Always verify. Just because a device is on the network doesn't mean it should be able to talk to everything.
Now, this kind of robust architecture, it used to be really complex and expensive for smaller organizations to implement. Has that changed?
It has, thankfully. Technologies like SD-WAN and SaaS are democratizing this level of security.
Can you break down SaaS for someone who might not have heard that term?
Sure. SaaS, it stands for Secure Access Service Edge. It essentially combines your network and your security into a single cloud service. So your firewall, your web gateway, your zero trust access, it's all delivered from the cloud.
So SMBs can get that granular enterprise-level protection without all the on-premise hardware and complexity.
Exactly. It makes it manageable. And you need that sophistication to catch these bots.
Because they behave so differently from a human attacker.
Completely different. There's no sleep cycle. There are no typos, just relentless, perfectly timed parallel attacks. And that's where behavioral anomaly detection comes in.
So you're looking for non-human patterns.
Yes. A human might try a dozen bad passwords in an hour. An AI bot will try 500,000 in 3 minutes across 30 different machines all at once.
That kind of synchronization is a dead giveaway.
It is. Your security system has to be smart enough to see that behavior, flag it as non-human, and automatically isolate that asset, not because of a known virus signature, but purely based on its behavior.
Okay, let's make this really practical. For anyone listening right now who's realizing their network is that flat, unmanaged mess with an old firewall, what are the first 5 steps they need to take, starting today?
Number 1, start with the hardware. Upgrade to a modern cloud-managed firewall. Make sure it has application layer security, threat intelligence feeds, and geo-blocking. If you don't do business in a certain country, just block all traffic from it. Simple.
Step 2 is knowing what you have.
You have to audit your network topology. Map out every single device, every switch. You can't protect what you can't see. You have to find those flat, high-risk areas.
Then step 3 is locking down access.
Right. Implement Identity-Based Network Access Control, or NAC. Tie network access directly to your identity system like Azure AD, and enforce MFA at the network level. No exceptions.
Step 4 seems so simple, but it's so critical.
It is. Separate your networks. Guest, IoT, and corporate traffic must be on isolated VLANs. Your printers and smart TVs should never, ever be able to talk to your financial server.
And finally, a shift in mindset.
Step 5 is the most important. Assume the firewall will fail.
Assume breach.
Always. Your perimeter is just layer 1. You need internal segmentation, you need robust and tested backups that are off-site, and you need endpoint detection and response. Defense in depth is the only way.
And we've seen this work in the real world. We had a manufacturing client.
Oh, yeah, that was a great case. They had just put in a new firewall and segmented their network. An AI botnet started a huge brute force campaign against their RDP ports.
A very common attack. So what happened?
The defenses worked exactly as they should. The behavioral analytics saw the non-human attack volume. The firewall blocked it instantly, and there was zero lateral movement. The bot was stopped cold at the edge.
The lesson there is pretty powerful. When your defenses move as fast as the attacker, AI becomes a lot less scary.
Now, contrast that with another client, outdated firewall, totally flat network.
Right.
A single phishing email got through. An AI bot exploited it, and because there was no segmentation, the entire network was encrypted in under 14 minutes.
14 minutes.
That's the difference. That's what you're up against. You don't have time for a human to react.
So looking forward, where's this all going?
Well, we're heading towards a future of AI versus AI security. Defensive AI systems will actively hunt and neutralize offensive AI bots, but your architecture has to be ready to support that.
And we have to get better at preventing the root cause of so many breaches, which isn't some super sophisticated attack, but
Human error, misconfigurations. It's still the #1 cause of firewall-related breaches.
which is why we're seeing this move toward network as code.
Absolutely. Using automated version-controlled configurations means changes are peer-reviewed and tested before they go live. It helps eliminate those simple mistakes that AI attackers are specifically programmed to find.
So to wrap this all up, the game has fundamentally changed. The network edge is the new front line.
And legacy firewalls and flat networks are, I'm sorry to say, functionally obsolete against these machine speed threats.
But success isn't really about having a massive budget.
No, it's about having the right strategy. A modern firewall, mandatory segmentation, and a zero-trust mindset. That's the foundation.
So our advice is to audit your edge today. Replace that aging hardware, segment your network, and get ready for a threat that truly never sleeps.
Because the future of cybersecurity begins at the edge, build it strong, or attackers will find it first.
A perfect place to end. Thank you for joining us for this discussion. Please subscribe to the Technology Risk Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, or wherever you listen.
This has been the Technology Risk Podcast.